Even the comatose, they don't dance and tell. We live in cities you'll never see on screen. Not very pretty, but we sure know how to run things.
But the dream of America is that America is ours to shape, ours to emancipate. And the truth of the matter is that we cannot be here just to tell the agents of tyranny to take their hands off America. We must be here to rise, to reach out, and to put our own hands on our own country.
Referring to Donald Trump as a dictator. So let's run through the list. Donald Trump has, since he was inaugurated, pardoned violent January 6 insurrectionists. Dictator. Defied Supreme Court orders and attacked the judiciary. Dictator. Unilaterally abolished congressionally chartered federal agencies. Dictator. Attacked the free press. Sounds like a dictator. Kidnapped people off of the streets and deported them to foreign prisons without due process. Sounds like a dictator. Defunded higher education. Dictator. Threatened law firms and the legal profession. Dictator. This weekend, he is spending tens of millions of dollars to host a massive military parade for his birthday. Is this North Korea? On top of all of that, our twice impeached president with a 34-count convicted felony president who is not a king has deployed the active duty military in American cities, and he has spent $134 million to do so. He has their guns trained on American citizens without the consent of local authorities or the state's governor to purposefully generate chaos and provoke a reaction. Meanwhile, we have Republicans on this side of the aisle asking governors of states about bathrooms. Like, this is the most dystopian, horrific episode of Black Mirror that I have ever seen.
I mean, this is a president who appointed a madman to be the nation's health secretary, and who in turn, he has just put like a QAnon conspiracy chat room in charge of the nation's vaccine schedule. This is a president who is selling coins and gold trinkets with his face on them from the White House. This is a president who can't persuade the first lady to live with him. This is a president whose supposed best friend says he should be impeached, and by the way, is in the Epstein files. I mean, this is a president whose approval ratings are more underwater than any other president ever at this point in his term. He has already rushed right to the part where he tries to turn the military against the civilian population, where he tries to turn the force of the American military against the American people. And that is something that neither the military nor the people have an appetite for, and he is going to learn that soon enough. He has rushed right to the end because he has no idea how to play cards against opposition to him that is this big, this sustainable, this broad, and this correct. He hasn't done anything as president that would win anyone over to his side. And the number of people who voted for him or supported him otherwise, who are now regretting it, grows by the day. And they don't just grow privately, they grow in the headlines every day. Everybody against him is getting stronger and more confident. Everybody with him is starting to get a little worried about how long they can stay with him as they see their numbers dwindle and they see him fail and flail over and over and over again. So for a would-be strongman, he's not strong. He is a remarkably weak and feckless political figure who is nevertheless trying to overthrow the American form of government while pushing incredibly unpopular policies and executing everything incredibly poorly with a laughingstock full of a terribly, terribly staffed administration and cabinet. I mean, who's in the Trump administration who you think like, skills, right? Or you think, popular. Or you think, growing political capital for this president by the day. Honestly. And on the other side, the opposition against him is big, deep, growing, confident, and increasingly unstoppable.
Frankly ridiculous that anyone in this room would even suggest that President Trump is doing anything for his own benefit. He left a life of luxury.
Trump definitely didn't leave a life of luxury. If he hadn't been reelected, he could have gone to prison for up to 20 years for illegally trying to overturn the results of the 2020 election and for covering up hush money payments during the 2016 election. But it's not just about avoiding prison. Trump's net worth has grown by nearly $3 billion since November. No US president has increased their net worth by even a tiny fraction of that during their time in office. Most of it has to do with his crypto holdings, which now make up 40% of his net worth. He's used the presidency to deregulate crypto and leveraged his followers in position to rake in cash on his meme coin. He even hosted an exclusive event at the White House for the top 220 holders of his Trump meme coin. And the top 25 investors got extra VIP perks. If that isn't using the presidency to enrich yourself, I don't know what is. The guy accepted a $200 million plane from Qatar that he'll be able to use after he leaves office. That's more than all of the foreign gifts given to all of the previous presidents combined. And they definitely didn't get to keep their gifts. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and his followers haven't even bat an eye, despite yelling about Hillary Clinton, Obama, and Biden's corruption for years. How did we go from national outrage over Hillary Clinton making $100,000 from a $1,000 investment in 1978 to brushing off blatant corruption and abuse of power today? I have one idea, and it's supported by research. Polls show Americans know Trump is corrupt. But after years of railing against the corrupt Democrats and
Man.
It's the trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means. It's the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
Unfortunately, anyway, thanks for waiting. How it went real long today, and like I said, or it looks like, at least on my iPad, it looks like really bad buffering. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Aaron's giving me thumbs up, so I guess we're okay. Hopefully, so far. If it gets really, really bad, let me know, and I might have to reboot the show or whatever. Anyhow, it looks like I think it's just letting me go up in the chat as far as where Fancy has all the little bows and ribbons. But I believe Sandy was first, and then after that, I'm not sure. But we got Fancy in here. Domino Captures is here. Thanks for being here, Domino. AM is here. Damon Dog the big dog is here. Let's see. AM non-useful says it's trying to tan under a tornado watch is stressful. I bet. Yeah, there's Josh. Roxanne Epstein's here. Josh, I love the dragonflies, especially when they are feasting on the mosquitoes that are feasting on me. Again, I'm just looking at my iPad, and it looks like it just keeps stopping. So hopefully that's not what's going on with you guys. Hopefully, Roxanne, I had to restart. It is better now. Okay, well, I'm glad that helped. Maybe I have to restart my iPad. I don't know. Mad Max, Slava Ukraini, absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. So what's going on today? We've got talks of World War III. When's the next march? I think we need to keep marching. Just keep marching and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Let's just keep it up. Let's keep up the good work. And remember, let's keep it peaceful. I believe in peaceful protest. And I think that's right. I was watching 21st Century Suffragettes yesterday, and Benny Loco, one of the things she said that I agree on is that we should call them marches. And I agree. Let's call them marches because that's what we should be doing. Is just marching, and like in some of those videos that I posted, people were marching. They had little chants going, and they had signs going, and that's how you do it. You don't protest, because protests, people kind of, I think, when they think of protest, they automatically maybe go to riot. They think of riot. We're not rioting. We're not doing any of that. We are peacefully marching and letting the world know, letting our government know that we're not happy, and that we're willing to get out of our easy chairs and go down to wherever the meeting place is and march. And it looks like I don't know. I got some email from the Women's March. I guess I'm on their mailing list. I think they're having a big march planned for. It just said 4th of July weekend, so I guess because 4th of July I think is on a Friday, so maybe they've got some stuff planned for the weekend. That might be the next big one. I don't know. I think No Kings is going to do some more stuff. Let's just keep it up. Let's get the numbers up and up and up and up and up and up, because that is eye-opening. I believe. I think it does make a difference. Some people say it doesn't make a difference, but it does when you start getting bigger and bigger numbers. You know, the bigger the numbers, the better. And again, keep it peaceful. Nick Rich is here, says like number 14. Good day. We've got 26 watching, 25 thumbs up. So we're at a slight deficit. Can we get to at least breaking even? A smart move to de-escalate this. It reeks of nukes, terrifying these idiots with such capability to destroy. Josh, TJ, and Faraday Cage again. Well, I'm in the same spot I've been doing the show for the last few weeks, and it's just one of those things where it's usually pretty good, but sometimes it goes in and out. So hopefully this is just a little phase, and maybe it'll get better here for the rest of the show. Nick Rich, never bitch at a computer glitch. Okay, this is when there was a lot of buffering. I think it's cleared up since then. Because I am probably several minutes behind in the chat here. Roxanne Epstein says, okay, I'm back. It's way too hot. Too many bugs where the dang dragonflies. Where are the dragonflies when you need them? And by the way, it is now 11:53 a.m. in the Pacific time zone. We're already here in Las Vegas. We are now at 103 degrees. Let's see. Oh, now it says 105. So we're at 105. I believe we have the high is expected to be at 111 today. 111. We're definitely above average for this time of year. Our temps way above average. We're like 10 degrees above average. But that's where we're at, 105, and we're going to get to 111. Boom, boom. Let's see. So for those of you that got through the buffering, I think it's doing okay now. Hopefully. Tim Farrell is in the chat. Thanks, Tim, for being here. Thanks for joining us in the old driver's lounge, as I like to call it. I just love how he says it so, it's just so nonchalant. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. And I'm saying the same thing. It looks like we're buffering again. I don't know. This might not go very long. I don't know, guys. If it gets to be too. Nick Rich says when John stops talking and begins reading, I expect him to buffer. Huh? Aaron West is here. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. Fancy says, anyone have any suggestions for TJ improve his reception? I think we've exhausted all the suggestions, Fancy. We're at this point. There's nothing else that can be done. I mean, this is it. Other than get the modem, and I'm not going to do that. I got a modem, but it doesn't work because the phone jack doesn't work, and I haven't even. I thought I was going to be moving by now, so I didn't see any reason to like call out a service and have them fix the phone jack and all that kind of stuff. Because I really thought I was going to be out of here by now. Hopefully, I will be moving within the next week or so. Hopefully, the next place will have better reception. I guess I'll take that modem with me and see if that works. But I think we've exhausted everything. So it is what it is. We're kind of at the mercy of the cell signal gods at this point. Because I've been doing this live stream now for at least 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, from the same exact location. It's just today's a bad day. It's, because it's usually not this bad, I don't think. It's usually not this bad. Belfast Bob, TJ needs to go into a casino, use their internet, whatever. Do you really think I could go into a casino and sit there and do this, what I'm doing now, like talking and laughing and shouting yippee? I guess they would think I just won a jackpot or something. Be realistic, man. Not going to go into a casino and try to do a podcast like this. Occasions, I've done live streams from, walking out on the strip or something like that. But I guess you guys don't understand what I do. I don't know. Fancy 78 degrees and the AC is on. Fancy 78 to live in a place where it was 78 degrees. It's just an expression. That's an expression. It's just a figure of speech to the YouTube censors or whatever. I don't know. Aaron West has a meeting in 5 minutes. I'll be back. So probably in the meeting now because I'm pretty sure I'm at least 5 minutes behind in the chat. I'm just sort of scrolling down a little bit here. Chris Doug is 81 degrees where Chris Doug is. And No Money G's here. Hey, No Money G, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in to the Driver's Lounge. So I don't know. I don't know if the show's going to keep freezing up or what. But anyhow, No Money G says it's super humid here. Tip isn't bad, but with 1,000% humidity, it sucks. Nick has got to go do some grocery shopping. And Sandy says, when you go to your new place, order Spectrum. It's the best internet. To see if it's available. Not all things are available everywhere. But yeah, Fancy says that's what I have. Sunny Folds, go at your taco place. I can't just pick up and move, guys. I can't. Do you want me to? I don't feel like walking through the 105 degree temperature right now. This is what it is. It's either going to be here or nothing. Mad Max says, Bob just had a suggestion, TJ. Give him a break, man. Jeepers. Whoa, you UK guys sticking up for each other over there, huh? Even though you're in Seattle, but you know. Don Usel says, breaking news, people who used anticholinergic drugs, whatever the fuck that is, such as Benadryl, daily for 3 years or more have nearly a 50% increased risk of dementia. Well, I'm glad I don't believe I've ever used Benadryl. I'm not even sure what Benadryl is. So, one less thing for me to worry about. Michael Bagandra, 70 degrees. Chris Duck says, my damn internet disconnect morning, so I have to unplug modem router to restart. Customer service said equipment is outdated. I have Spectrum. Had to exchange for new equipment. Chris Doug, $10 more a month. Hey, I caught up. 27 watch and 29 thumbs up. So now we're at a surplus. I'm caught up. I'm not going to go walk in the 105 degree heat over to the taco place. This is it, folks. Hopefully the buffering will go away. I don't know. But, all right, guys, so what are we going to do? This is Wednesday. This is hump day. What's going on this weekend? Any marches planned? Anything going on? What do you guys want to talk about? You want to talk about this deranged man who was a man of God? He was an evangelical preacher in Africa. And supposedly, pro-life. And he goes and murders 2 people, shoots the fuck out of 2 other people that he was trying to murder. Had a kill list that included Tim Walz and a bunch of other notable Democrats in Minnesota. This is a man of God. This reminds me so much of the Dr. Tiller, where the guy went into church, the house of the Lord, and shot this man, this doctor, point blank range, just because he's a doctor and he had performed abortions over the years. This man of God, this pro-life man, went and murdered another man. And just like that case, where I think you could directly tie, that man's actions to being encouraged by Fox News and by Bill O'Reilly specifically, or maybe it was Sean Hannity, or maybe it was all of them, or both of them. I think you can really pin this on the violent rhetoric of Donald Trump. And that's where this guy got the encouragement. It's pretty sick. So I hope that guy, there's another guy. I've considered myself to be like against the death penalty, but there's a lot, as I get older, I don't know, I'm like, hey man, fry that motherfucker, Roxanne Epstein says AT&T just stopped by wanting to bundle me up. I see billboards are all around town about here in Vegas. This says AT&T has now it has like internet, like kind of like a mobile internet service or something that you can just get. But then I tried to get it, and they said it wasn't available. So. Chris Duck says forecast for next Tuesday, New York metro area is 99 degrees. Sandy Folt says there's a potluck dinner in Lockport tomorrow. That sounds nice. Don Useful says, has anyone heard if tomorrow, Juneteenth, will have parades? I haven't heard a peep in St. Louis. I don't know if there's any type of political parades going on, but I know here in Vegas they are having Juneteenth celebrations, that are specifically about Juneteenth. But they are doing that, but I don't think there's anything tied to it as far as like a no kings or anything like that. AM, did the madman throw us into World War III? Could be. It could be. It's not looking too good. But I don't know. You just never know, man. This could spark it could spread, or maybe it'll just be between Iran and Israel. I don't know. But I do know that if Trump hadn't canceled the JCPOA, that we wouldn't be here now with the situation. So this all falls back onto Trump again, and his incompetence and his really stupidity. Just when he got in 2016, just going through and just undoing anything that Obama did just because he doesn't like Obama. He doesn't like Democrats in general, Obama specifically. That's why he didn't. That's why he never, he read or he just got rid of the pandemic response that they had all set up and ready to go in case something happened. He completely ignored that just because it had Obama's name on it, and then same with the JCPOA. Just all of it's coming back. Everything that's bad happening right now could be. It goes right back to Trump. These murders in Minnesota goes to Trump. The bombings and stuff, in Iran and Israel goes back to Trump. And my head will explode every time I do this. We can start from now and work backwards. If Kamala Harris had won, we wouldn't be here. We'd be enjoying the continuation of the great Biden boom, Bidenomics. And if we go back to 2016, if Hillary had won, we wouldn't have gone through, we probably would have had half as many or maybe even a quarter as many deaths with COVID. You know, and we wouldn't have gone through, we wouldn't have gotten a tanked economy and all that stuff because of Trump. But then you go back to 2000, and if Gore had won, there probably wouldn't even have been a 9/11. You know, because Gore would have read the presidential daily briefings, and he would have, you know, they would have been ready for it or whatever. I mean, on and on and on and on. You know, if Carter had beat Reagan, and in each case, Reagan cheated, Bush, you know, they cheated with the Supreme Court. Trump is cheating. The only way they can win is by cheating, and they win, and then we get fucked over. And how many millions of people since Reagan, because of those administrations, the Reagan administration, the Bush administration, the Trump administrations, how many millions of people have unnecessarily died because of those administrations? And that would not have died if Carter had won, if Gore had rightfully been taken office like he should have, if Hillary had won, and now we go to Kamala Harris. I mean, it just makes your head want to explode just thinking about it. So I try not to go down that wormhole and just stay in the present and try to stay focused on what we need to do now, and that is get back to Congress in 2026, get back to the White House in 2028, and never give up in trying to keep that focus going forward. Because we can't go back. All we can do is, I guess, you know, learn from the past, but we can't go back and change it. Roxanne Epstein, I got rid of Spectrum for AT&T, much better service. My mom has Spectrum, has shitty service. Belfast Bob there says they're mad temperatures, folks. How you stick that? It's been hitting 80 plus Fahrenheit here and more regularly. It's human caused climate change, everything, but here everything shuts down. I agree. It's human caused. Chris Doug, I dare a reporter to ask Trump how he will celebrate Juneteenth. I would love that. I would love that if someone did that. That's why we need Brian Karem in the White House, the White House press corps. Roxanne Epstein, it would just embarrass Juneteenth for Dinky to say anything, and hopefully it just celebrated peacefully. Draw says, I saw rain on the horizon, tried to speed mow the backyard, failed to complete it. The rain got there before you could finish, huh? Roxanne says, I seen on house chat, people are putting ice cubes in their bras when they go outside in California desert. I'll have to remember that. Next time I go out, put some ice cubes in my bra. Fancy got the groceries put away. Non-useless says, Trump should think twice about using our military to take out Iran's underground facility. How many twin towers around the world Trump owned that they become vulnerable? Just saying. Yeah, karma's a bitch, right? Trump is so stupid, he doesn't even know what karma is. Yeah, Robert Nicholas says, fancy. Groceries. What an old-fashioned word. Yes, it's so quaint. Yeah, fancy's getting all old-timey on us. What are these groceries you speak of? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm trying to think back in time. Like, what are groceries? It's kind of like takes us back to a time when we used to have to wind up the car to start it, and or you had the phone with you would hold one thing up to your ear, and I think you had to like do that's what we're going back to when you say this word grocery. Do people even do that anymore? Anyhow, that's how stupid Trump is too. And scene. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Belfast Bob says no wind or a breeze, just tropical humidity sucks. Josh says it really is kind of like purposefully letting a kid win a board game. Chris Doug, I was told to put a potato in my bathing suit to impress the ladies. Nothing happened since no one told me to put it in the front. That's hilarious. That's pretty hilarious. Roxanne says, make sure you're not in top chat. I'm not in top chat. I've been kind of, maybe I skipped down or I may have skipped. Sometimes I skip in the chat just for the brevity, the sake of brevity or whatever. So I'm not 45 minutes behind. Mr. Spock is here, so live long and prosper to Mr. Spock. One of these days I'll be able to do that. Fancy, I'm very old-timey. Fancy, well, what should I call it? Well, I don't know. That's apparently, though, according to Trump, groceries is this. He had to explain to us. So, yeah, there's this thing called groceries. Have you guys heard the word groceries? Hey, Jen at the base is here. Hey, Jen at the base says Karen. Karen Reed or whatever, not guilty on all charges except operating under the influence. That's the one I forget. I don't even know she was. I don't even know. I forget who she is, what she did. People always talk about it. I don't really follow those things. I don't really care about it. I don't know. I don't. I'm not a big like court TV kind of person. Apparently, it was good. Roxanne said, "Jen of the base. That's awesome, baby. Jury did good." So I guess we're rooting for Karen Reed. Okay, I don't even remember what her deal is. So yay, Karen Reed. I guess. Roxanne Epstein said, "Okay, TJ, skipping around, I can dig it." Chris Doug says FDA just approved a twice-a-year shot to prevent HIV, a major step in ending the damn disease. Wow. Jim Debate says Roxanne Jury did the right thing. BPD tried to frame her. Is that Boston? Are they in Boston? Boston? I don't know. This is about groceries. Wow, groceries. Wow. There's this thing that people go to. This is Trump, like, yeah, they go and they buy what they call groceries. Yeah, it's called groceries. Fuck you, Trump. We know what groceries are. Wouldn't you just love to be able to at least be standing not too close to Trump because he stinks to high fucking heaven, but close enough where he would hear you. And when he says something stupid like that, wouldn't you just love to be there to go, Trump, you fucking idiot? Everyone knows what groceries are. What, this is the first time you're hearing about groceries? You fucking idiot. I would just love to call Trump an idiot to his face. And then my life would be complete. Fancy says, I'm going to call them fancy food products from now on. I went to the store and I bought some fancy food products. See, that sounds even more old-timey than groceries. And the point of it is groceries is not old-timey. That's the irony of it, I guess. Sandy Foltz, who is Karen Reed? I don't know, Sandy. Someone who was apparently being framed by the BPD. Marsha, $2 super chat. All I can do till next month. Hey, Marsha, thank you so much. Look, guys, I love getting the super chats and the things. I love it. I appreciate it so much. But if you can't do it, if it's a hardship, don't do it. Just like, subscribe, and share, and let's get us to 5 million subscribers. But I appreciate. Thank you so much, Marsha. Yippee to Marsha. In case if I didn't do yippee, and I thank you so much for the support. It's always greatly appreciated. Absolutely. Mr. Bob Newell says, I can't hear you. My third ear is in the center of my forehead. Michael McAndrews, I got your next month covered, Marsha, with a $4 super chat. Thank you, Michael McAndrews. Yippee, Michael. Thank you so much. We're 3/5 of the way there. Fancy says, sounds good to my ears, laughing out loud. Yeah, fancy food products. I'm going to the store to get me some fancy food products. I've got to go and crank up my car. I'll be just a moment while I'm cranking my car up. And then you're on the phone. Are you listening? You're like, hello, operator. How'd they hold it? Hello, operator. Patch me through to 555. Whatever. Mr. Spock, your logic is eradicating HIV is flawed. Chris Doug, you're forgetting about pro-life, anti-vaccine MAGA. Roxanne Epstein says, Jen will have to explain Karen Reed trial. He knows all the important details. I know the cops tried to frame her for murder. It was for murder. Chris Doug says, hell is defined as being trapped in a confined space with Donald Trump for eternity. Oh my God, that would be hell. Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. Caleb Gillering's in the chat, in the driver's lounge. Hey, Caleb, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you coming around, hanging out. Non-Useful says Trump mobile calls being routed through St. Louis area call center. That was part of the pitch. It's like, we're not going to outsource to India. We'll have our customer service based right out in good old St. Louis, Missouri. All right. I'm still not going to buy your crappy phones, but okay, whatever. Non-Useful says, according to court documents, Omega Auto Care operates under Insurity Ventures, which is also based in Chesterfield. Insurity is affiliated with with Driven Solutions, which is based in Chesterfield and operates Drive America, the provider of roadside assistance for Trump mobile customers. Okay. Do we need to know all that? Non-useful? That might have been some non-useful information. I don't know. Mr. Bob Newell says, where you stand, no vibrations or good vibrations. I don't know. Is that a trick question? Is that a trick question? It sounds like I don't even know what you're talking about. Belfast Bob says groceries and tariffs for fuck's sake. What a vocabulary the orange orangutan has, for fuck's sake. AM, we support you, TJ. Thank you, AM. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. Absolutely, 100%. Barbara Nicholas says charged with killing her cop boyfriend with her car, not guilty. Well, good. Now I can sleep better at night, knowing that Karen Reed has been found not guilty. It was really weighing heavily on me, and now I can finally get a decent night's sleep. Sandy Fold says, TJ, has anyone bought you a coffee lately? You know what? I haven't checked over there. Usually it does pop up in my email, I guess, if someone does do a buy me a coffee. I think it's been a while. Yeah, thanks for reminding me about the buy me a coffee link. Michael McAndrews says, I have to reboot my main system. I get updates on Windows and Microsoft and other stuff almost every day now. Why is that, I wonder? Mr. Spock, was that a James Cagney impression coming out? I would maybe. I'll just say yes. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, sure. Mr. Bob Newell, what is your rating of Trump's parade? -2 out of 10. I'm giving him a -2. Michael McAndrews, whoa, dude, he went to -9,000. Michael McAndrews ain't fucking around. I was at -2, and I thought that was like a nice, dig. But Michael with the -9,000. Sandy Foltz, do you have Jersey Mike's? Yeah, we got Jersey Mike's out here. Jennifer DeBay says that Roxanne Epstein. Okay, so everybody interested in Karen Reed was tried for the second time, accused of murdering her Boston cop boyfriend. Soap opera has been going on for years. Law enforcement framed her. So now I hope that the law enforcement that framed her, I hope they're up on charges. And who really murdered, if it wasn't her boyfriend, if it wasn't her, Karen Reed that did the murder, who did the murder? Are they going to find the real murderer now? Was it someone in the Boston PD and they were covering up for the Boston PD? Inquiring minds want to know. Let's keep this soap opera going for a few more years. Josh says nobody's ever seen a yawn like that parade, and I know that there was one person there that really loved the parade, was really having a really good time, and it was that guy there. Look at him having such a good time. Look at that guy. If that doesn't say I'm having a good time, then I don't know what does. Look at him all. I don't know if he's sleeping. I don't know if he's pooping. I don't know if he's crying. But it does not look like someone who's having a good time. Mr. Bob Newell, does Trump get to bang the body double? I don't know. Probably for extra. Am I buffering again? Let's see. I don't know. Hello? Hey, anybody out there? Is this thing on? No. Just kidding. Mr. Bob Newell, can you swim? I can swim. I can. Maybe I should do like Hal does. If we make the goal, we'll do a little Q&A or something. If we make the goal, I don't know if I'll do it for half an hour. Maybe we'll do a 10-minute Q&A or something. I don't know. Because usually by the time I have to end the show, my battery's almost dead, so I'm not sure if that would work. Anyhow, so disregard what I just said. Belfast Bob says, any word on that hit and run on a protester by what turned out was a woman who was filmed protesting before the car incident? I didn't hear anything about that after. I saw that clip. Was I watching it? I was watching it. Was it like Beasley or Mockler or Minus Touch, or it might have been Minus Touch? But I never did hear anything about what happened to her. But they probably just arrested her and charged her for hit and run and for battery or something. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, if anybody knows more than just me wildly guessing, then I guess put it in the chat. Josh says, Mad Mac, you might get toenail fungus kicking that ass. Oh, I guess I skipped something Mad Max said about wanting to kick maybe Trump's ass or something, maybe. Oh, Mad Max says, heaven would be trapped in a confined space with him, and I'm kicking his ass daily. That's what happens when you skip stuff, Fancy says, nobody buys me any coffee. What's wrong with you guys? Yeah, what's wrong with you guys? Buy Fancy a coffee. Roxanne Epstein, shut the fuck up, TJ. Your interest in Karen Reed, sarcasm heavy. Yeah, well, I guess so, because who gives a fuck about Karen Reed? I don't give a fuck about Karen Reed. It's a local story in the Boston PD. If you lived in Boston, I guess it's interesting. I watch local news here in Vegas all the time, and I don't talk about the Vegas news all that much. Who gives a fuck about what a murder case in Boston? And it's gonna. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I'm not going to let it take up, years and years and years of my viewing time. I don't give a fuck about Karen Reed. Who gives a fuck about Karen Reed? Apparently you do. I don't. Hey, if she's innocent, and I'm glad that she was found innocent. But I don't give a fuck about some local story in Boston, on the other side of the goddamn country. Barbara Nicholas says, Taco on CNN now saying he has an idea of what to do with Iran. Does he have a concept of an idea? Hey, 70B2's here. Stephanie, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in the old driver's lounge. Says, hello everyone. I'm taking you in the shower with me. Oh, yeah, that water. Water's a good temperature. I like it. Non-user says Omega and Insurity Ventures, aka Trump Phone, were named in a $5 million class action lawsuit alleging violations of federal robocall laws. So, of course, that's what Trump is getting in bed with, I guess. Huh? Belfast Bob, come on, TJ. Saw some of the best marching ever by cops. I mean, by troops. Yeah, that was magnificent. They did not seem like they wanted to be there. Hey, there's Brooklyn SJU. Hey, I'm here just home from the gym. Getting all buffed out. Pump some iron. All right, Brooklyn. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Aaron West is back. Back from their phone call, I guess. Brooklyn says, did I miss kinkiness? I don't know. Yo, Brooklyn, says Josh. Robert Nicholas says, did you see Taco on White House front lawn this morning? He said, I give up. What happened to Never Surrender? I didn't see that clip. I have not seen that. Chris Doug, I guess we're doing some Star Trek stuff. Says, damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a miracle worker. Was my favorite McCoy response. Yeah. Damn it, Jim. Mr. Manuel, should I split a pair of eights? Go ahead. Yeah. For you, yeah, sure. I will get up and leave the table if I see some dudes not splitting his eights. So yeah, you should split a pair of eights. Aces and eights. In case it's you forget, just remember you always split aces and eights. Okay, and if you don't, then I will probably get up and leave the table and not be on the same table as you. Same way with people who are splitting, tens or face cards. Like two kings or two queens or something. If you're going to split those, I will probably get up and leave. I will not sit at the same table with someone who plays that poorly or that stupidly. One Vision's here. Hey, One Vision, good to see you. What's up with the shut your mouth thumbnail? Believe you me, I always shut up when I'm told to shut up. This one time I didn't shut up and the guy didn't like it. Well, the thumbnail that's little baby X, and that was taken from when he told Trump, where he said, like, I really want you to shut your mouth right now, or something like that. And then I just shortened it to shut your mouth. And then also in my little theme song, it says shut your mouth. It says one line is shut your mouth, and another line says hush your mouth, I think it says. So I thought it was all kind of a big play on all that stuff. That's all. That's all I got to say about that. But thanks for being here, One Vision. I almost called you by your former name by accident. Chris Doug says Trump celebrated the erection of 2 flagpoles on the White House lawn just in time for Pride. One Vision says, believe me, I zip right up when I'm told I quit saying anything right then and there. You're a good soldier, One Vision, I guess. Mr. Bogdul says the Melania body double is hotter than the original Melania. One Vision, I'm the best shutter-upper you ever met. Mr. Bob Newell, Karen got psycho vibe. That attracts interest. One Vision, can I talk now? Laughing my fucking ass off. Mr. Spock says someone should do a remake of Frankie Goes to Hollywood song 2 Tribes. Have current day people in the video. Relax, don't do it. Or whatever. Where that goes. Josh says the thunder's upsetting my dog. He's getting better about it though. Oh, is that Dio? Are you the one that has a dog named Dio? That just turned 1? And little puppy scared of the thunder. To the base. Yes, the conspiracies need to all be held accountable. FBI investigating, and the House of Conspiratorial Cards will collapse quickly. Cops know the first one to the sequel gets a deal. I mean, cops know the first one to squeal get the deal. Not a sequel, but there probably will be a sequel. I don't know. Anyhow, you guys enjoy the Karen Reed saga. All you want. I've got bigger fish to fry. Named Donald Trump. Brooklyn says, the actors are so old they say, I've fallen and can't beam up. Almost all those actors are dead now from the original Star Trek. The only one left is Shatner, and he's barely hanging in, probably. I think he's still alive. Did Shatner die yet? I think Shatner's still alive. Says Trucker John, would you like to talk about the Giants? I feel like you're treading on my free speech. You can talk about whatever the fuck you want to. I don't give a fuck. I also have my free speech to tell you if I think something's stupid. Or if I want to be sarcastic about something. Want to come at me with free speech? Josh says, "Show your breast." He's headed west. Not even sure what that means. I think you just did a parody of my song. Oh, Josh has my dog Wally. He's about 5 years old. Oh, who had Dio? Who's the one that had Dio? Someone had a dog named Dio that just turned 1. But anyhow, I'm sure Wally is just a cute little dog there. Mr. Bob Newell says, "Why does Trump still do that jerking hand job?" Because he's a weirdo. Mr. Bob Newell, is Duke Snyder still playing in heaven, like in the Field of Dreams? He's in the baseball team in heaven. Marshall, I love George. Oh yeah, George Takei is still alive. Yeah, George Takei is still in there, hanging in there, and Shatner. We're in West says Shatner's still alive. So is George Takei. So yeah. How could I forget about Sulu? Is it Sulu? Jim the Base, Sir John Kruger Cops, Kruger Judge, second bite of the apple by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to frame an innocent woman of the crime she's accused of. It's a big fucking deal, TJ. Well, it's big. Yeah, okay, whatever, dude. Whatever, man. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat. I just don't watch court cases from local places that are halfway or that are all the way the other side of the country. That, I mean, you guys, the way you guys talk about it, you would think it was like Watergate hearing or something. Or Ion, like this is like Iran Contra or something. And it's not. It's a local case, and and I'm glad if there was a miscarriage of justice, I'm glad that it was rectified. But other than that, I don't give a fuck. Mad Max says Bill Shatner is 94 years old. He was born in 1931. Wow. Yeah, he's up there. Brooklyn says, wasn't it Duke Schneider, whose daughter and it had his head? No, well, first of all, it's Duke Snyder, not Schneider, and the one that had the head frozen was Ted Williams, and I don't think it was by his daughter. I think it was his son. I think. Yeah. So yeah, Duke Snyder, not Schneider, former Dodger great, played mostly in Brooklyn, but I think he did make the move to L.A. I think he did play a few years in L.A. early '60s, and then Ted Williams, of course, the great Boston Red Sox, probably greatest hitter in Major League Baseball history. Just overall, all those years, hitting, batting average wise. But that was Ted Williams, Boston Red Sox. Hey, Jolie's here. Good to see Jolie. Jolie, do you care about the Karen Reed trial? Are you a big fan of the Karen Reed trial? Apparently, I'm getting shit because I don't give a fuck about the Karen Reed trial. So, apparently, that makes me a bad person. Mad Max says, I don't even know who Karen Reed is. See, Mad Mac doesn't know. Are you going to get on his shit? Chris Doug says Shatner has good genes. A Jewish guy from Canada. From Canadian horse country. Well, there you go. Barbara Nicholas. Shatner was on one of the late night shows recently with another guy. I think he's starring in another show. He took over the whole convo. Wow. So Shatner's still working. Because I hadn't really seen much of him lately. And so I thought he was at the point in his life where, where you sort of just shudder, and because you're so old and you can't really do anything. So you just sort of stay, you cocoon yourself in, and you just sort of prepare yourself for the next life. But so that's good. That's encouraging to hear that Shatner is on a show at 94. I think that's great. Josh says my little local school district made national news a couple years ago for some morons trying to ban books. And if that's in Illinois, they can't do that anymore because J.D. Pritzker, the governor, signed into law a law that bans the burning of books. I think, right? Or bans book banning. I don't know. Was it book banning or book burning? Whatever it was, but you get the point. Brooklyn says, "So what if she killed her boyfriend? He's only a man." Chris Doug, Pee Wee Reese. Now we're just throwing out names, I guess. Pee Wee Reese, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron. I don't know. Is that what we're doing? MJ Daniel says, just look at that face. Poor Donnie the Nut having a bad day. His parade sucked and he filled his pants. I know. Look at, oh, poor baby. Poor baby Donnie. Let's see here. There. Yeah, look at him. Look at him crying. That's our dear leader. That's our dear leader right there. Oh, but then when I zoomed in on that, it zoomed on everything else. Am I back to normal now? I think I'm back to normal. Okay. I don't want me zoomed in. God knows that. We don't want that. Julie says, I am not Trucker John. We can be bad people together. Thanks, Jolie. I'm glad you're on my side. Chris Doug says, my grandparents took my mom to Brooklyn Dodger games in the 50s. Mr. Spock says it would be cool to get Bill Shatner to sing Imagine in the style of hillbilly music. Didn't he do a whole album of that was sort of like rock songs? But he did it in the William Shatner style, as only William Shatner could do. Doug G. Trial was on my Air TV Michigan. Hey, Doug G. Good to see you. Jim's Basic Trucker John, I'm not getting on your shit, TJ. Why do I trigger you so? You have to ask yourself that. Mr. Bob Newell, let's celebrate Shatner while he's still around. Mad Max says Shatner acted in the Big Bang TV show. He was funny as hell. Yeah, but that was almost 20 years ago. At least 10, 15 years ago. So I can understand he was still working then, but now he's 94, and I hadn't seen him in anything for a long time. So I just thought, he was just getting ready to die somewhere or something. You know what I mean? So it's good to hear that he's still working. Mr. Spock, he could sing every word like it's a complete sentence. Mad Mac, U.S. officially joins war on Iran. Breaking. Here we go, folks. Here we go. Josh says the last thing I saw of Shatner was when he did a eulogy type thing for Nimoy. One Vision, I have good genes. 2, 501 Levi's. Yeah, see there? AM, I like William Shatner in the series Boston Legal. Yeah, that was good. And him and Spader, or was it? What's his face? Yeah. Chris Doug Shatner was in The Devil's Rain, a cult classic. I encourage you to see it. A departure from character. I think I did see that. Yeah, I think so. Hey, Terry Taylor's here. Hey, Terry Taylor, good to see you. Says, hi, TJ. Man, that orange menace sure is a whiny little bitch. Yeah. My parade. No one likes my parade. Zeno Base, AM, be careful when you say Boston Legal. Trucker John may go off again on Karen Reed. All I said was, okay, now I can sleep at night knowing that Karen Reed has been found innocent. And your girlfriend didn't like that. Thought it was too sarcastic. So take it up with her. Brooklyn says, a very young Shatner was in judgment at Nuremberg. Oh. I'm trying to remember if I saw that or not. I'm just envisioning like a black and white film, maybe, but I don't know. Josh says, laughing out in the rain picked up, and my dog groaned. Poor dog. He's like, oh, more bad weather coming. Chris Doug says, Leonard Nimoy was not just an accomplished actor, he was an artist, poet, and professional photographer as well. Man of many talents. Gin up the base, Mr. Bob Newell, Jackie Robinson, the only Dodger I'll pick. MJ Daniel Shatner also in Kingdom of Spiders, 1977. I don't think I ever saw that masterpiece. Robert Nicholas says, Trucker, please, I'd rather look at your naked butt than taco. I know that is kind of a bit torturous to have that up there. All right, I guess I can take it down. I guess I've made my point about what a little crybaby piece of shit Donald Trump is. About how apparently he wasn't happy at his parade. And that makes me happy. When Donald Trump's not happy, that makes me happy. Now, Brooklyn coming in with about Nimoy. Nimoy left his wife on her birthday. Couldn't he wait one day? Yeah, that seems like a pretty shitty thing to do. Or maybe the day before her birthday. Because I can kind of see, like, he's probably been thinking about, okay, I'm going to leave, I'm going to break up, it's not working, whatever. I don't know what the situation is. Her birthday's coming up. And then he's like, it might be kind of shitty of me if I did this before her birthday. So I think he should have done it before her birthday. Unless something just really happened on the day of. And I was like, this is it. I don't know. Mr. Spock says Shatner had something to do with his previous wife's death. Oh, he murdered her. Things didn't add up in the explanation. They were going to get a divorce type thing. I think he absolutely drowned her. Him and fucking Beretta, they both killed their fucking wives. Are you kidding me? Why do I like Shatner still? I guess because it was never really proven, but I'm pretty sure he killed her. And pretty sure that Beretta killed his wife. Especially Beretta. Even more so Beretta than Shatner. I'm just saying Beretta because I can't remember Beretta's name. Robert something. Pretty sure. I would say I'm almost like 100% sure that Beretta killed his wife. Shatner, I think it's more than a 50% chance that he killed his wife. So thanks for reminding me of that. So now, I don't like Shatner anymore because I really don't like murderers. Aaron West says, I met Shatner at GalaxyCon a few years ago. He does a lot of conventions still. Mad Mac, I thought Congress had to approve the U.S. going to war. Might be clickbait from Pac-Man. It just popped up, but I haven't watched it yet because I don't want to DJ. The one thing about Donald Trump is he does a lot of things that he's not supposed to do. Like send in the National Guard or the Marines to California for a protest that California needed no help in handling. Everything about Trump is illegal and unconstitutional. So it would not surprise me one bit if he sends us to war without congressional approval, because the Congress, led by the Republicans, remember that, they have the majorities in the House and the Senate. So this is a Republican-led Congress. They're letting him do whatever he fucking wants because they are too chicken shit and spineless to stand up to him. Mr. Spock, I like the song The Legend of Bilbo that Nemo did. I think I've heard that. It as Tourist is here. Says, hi, beautiful libs. Karen is free. Woo. Just rebel. Kimchi, we just went through a whole thing about the Karen Reed thing, about how I don't really give a fuck and I'm not interested in it. And then you come in and revive the whole thing. Nothing against you. I just thought that was funny. Because we've gone through this whole thing, of me sort of poo-pooing the whole thing, and now you're in it. So I mean, I just thought that was funny. Mr. Bob Newell, why haven't we invaded Greenland? Yeah, what's up with that? Come on, Trump. You said we were going to invade Greenland. Why aren't we doing that? Joey says, I met him a couple years ago at a convention too. Did you ask him if he murdered his wife? If I met Bill Shatner, I would probably ask him that. Did you murder your wife, Bill? Come on, you can tell me. You're almost dead. No one's going to put you in prison. Okay, no one's going to. You're old and you're on death's door. You can tell me. It as Taurus Kimchi says, I can no longer donate to anyone who makes fun of state-sponsored terrorism against innocent people. It is all related to the current right-wing cruelty. Who is making fun of state-sponsored terrorism against innocent people? Who is doing this? MJ Daniel says, Devil's Reign, quite a cast. Wayne Shatner, Tom Skerritt, Ernest Borgnine, Eddie Albert, Ida Lupino, and Keenan Wynn. John Travolta made his film debut in a minor role. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. I can kind of remember those actors in this movie. I just can't really remember the whole thing. I kind of remember Shatner actually being in the rain and like blood coming down. Maybe, I don't know. Was it raining blood? I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen it, but I'm pretty sure I did see it. Sandy Folt says, you hate Trump. Why do you have his picture up? I'm just showing how miserable he was, Sandy. We're talking about his parades. He wanted this parade so much. He wanted this parade so much, and it was a complete failure. And so I've got his picture up there just to kind of rub it in a little bit, because I like rubbing it in. Mr. Spock says drugged and pushed in the pool. I figure. Yeah, see, even Mr. Spock, I think, is agreeing with me. His wife was drunk and roofied, and he pushed her in the pool, and she couldn't get out because she was too inebriated and too drunk and fucked up, and he did nothing to get her out and let her drown. Sandy Foltz, O.J. Simpson killed. Yes, you're right, Sandy. O.J. Simpson definitely killed his ex-wife and Ron Goldman. I say definitely 100% without a doubt. You were right on that one. Brooklyn says Shatner remarried 3 seconds later. Yeah, see there? See, it's all adding up, isn't it? It's all adding up. Josh says, interesting. Elvis Stu says, so, Trucker John, are you going to switch to Trump Mobile? No. Not gonna. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Marcia says, according to Google, U.S. has not joined the Israel-Iran offensive. I think it's just offensive. As of yet, Dinky probably bloviating until, question mark, never know with the chaos kook. Well, I don't know how up to date the Google thing is, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. AM says my earbuds died one, and I am on a bus. So see you all tomorrow. Thank you, AM. Thanks for sticking in here for as long as you could. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Yakety Smack. Hey, Yakety Smack. Thanks for joining us here in the Old Drivers Lounge. We got 40 watching, 42 thumbs up. So we're operating at a surplus. But don't let that stop you. If you haven't hit the thumb up button, just because we are operating at a surplus, don't let that stop you. But hey, yeah, Yakety Smack. Thanks for being here. Josh says, I kind of turned out of celebrity murders after OJ. Sandy Foltz, why do you care what Trump does? He's just trying to do his job as a president. And he's doing a very poor job of it. He's the worst president ever, Sandy. He's the worst we've ever had in the history of this country. And I want to make sure everybody knows it. Chris Doug says some, not many, Republicans may oppose a congressional resolution to authorize force. But let's put it to a vote. There is a process. If we're going to go to war, it has to go through Congress. It's supposed to anyhow. Josh says, though I've been saying for years that Trump owes us a low-speed OJ style golf cart case. Yeah, golf cart chase. That would be hilarious. Notorious GRG with a $4.99 super sticker. Hey, Notorious GRG, thanks so much for being here, and thanks so much for that. You get a yippee. It wasn't a super chat, but it's a super sticker. So yippee. With a cat saying good job. Search for You says, I'm here. I'm here from the Karen Reed trial. All right, all you Karen Reed trial fans, welcome. Welcome to the Trucker John. I think I may have lost Roxanne. I think I pissed her off. But everyone else is here. Jen, tell Roxanne to come back because your coalition is growing. You got Kim Chi, you got Search for You, and several others. So tell her to come back. Your numbers are growing. Mr. Spock laughing my ass off. Now I'm a few minutes behind, so I'm not exactly sure what we're laughing at. 70B2 says he's doing a horrible job as president and he's a pussy grabber. How's that, Sandy? Yeah, he's horrible. He's a horrible president. And it's not even been 6 months, and he's already pretty much destroyed a really great economy that he was handed. And he's already pushing us really on the brink of really destroying the Constitution, putting us into a constitutional crisis. Robert Wagner's another. Brooklyn says Robert Wagner killed Natalie Wood and outlived her by many years. Yes. So gosh, we got Robert Wagner, who got away with it. Beretta, Shatner, and OJ, and he got away with that criminally. He didn't get away with it civilly. Yeah, look at this. A lot of that's horrible. That's horrible. Paul Sharkey Mannion from across the pond says, evening TJ and truckers, Trump is asleep at the wheel again. Total loser. He's out of his depth, doesn't know what to do about anything. And that's why we have President Stephen Miller, apparently. Apparently Stephen Miller is one that's kind of running the show. And that's scary because that guy is a little fucking Nazi. A Jewish Nazi, of all things. Sandy Foles says, TJ, what would you do if Trump was to come to knock on your door? Well, my first thought was, probably punch him in the face and kick him in the nuts, and then just knock him down, and then just kick him when he's down. I would kick him in the ribs, but I wouldn't say that because I don't want to be arrested by Secret Service or whatever. That's just what my first sort of thought would be. But then I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't actually do that because, like I said, I don't want to get arrested. So I would probably just be like, what the fuck are you doing here, you stupid ass motherfucker? You're the fucking worst. I would just cuss him out. You're the fucking worst president we've ever had. You suck. You're an idiot. You're a moron. You have no right to even be the president. Kamala Harris won. You cheated. Kamala Harris is the rightful president. You should not even be president. Hillary Clinton beat you by 3 million votes. She should have beat you the first time. We would be in such a better place right now if you had never even been born, let alone been president. I would probably just go off on him like that. I would take what I would like to do to him physically, and I would just do it verbally. And then I would say, what's that smell? God, get the fuck out of my door. Mr. Spock, if the mind meld don't fit, you got to quit. Brooklyn says, TJ, I love how committed you are to doing my accent. Well, it is what it is. It has tourist kimchi. Says, Sandy, why would Trump show up? He's a pussy. Josh, I kind of like OJ and Isaac. I kind of liked OJ and Isaac Hayes. And I'm going to get you sucker, but they're both assholes in real life. I think Isaac Hayes passed away. And so did OJ. I don't know what Isaac Hayes did to be an asshole. I don't really know his personal life, so I don't know. Krista says, oh my God, Robert Wagner did not kill Natalie Wood. He loved her. She drank heavily and went for a moonlight swim after Wagner and Christopher Walken had gone to sleep. She was known to mix booze and pills. All right, that's what you want to believe, Chris Doug. If that's what helps you sleep at night. Nick Rich says, you guys are bailing on me just when I get back. I didn't. Who's bailing? The only one bailing was AM or whatever because his batteries were going dead. Brooklyn says Natalie was terrified of the water. Don't you know that, Chris? What are you kidding me? Chris Doug? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Natalie was terrified of the water. So there. It has tourist. She says, yes, he did kill Natalie Woods, and Mr. Cowbell helped him cover it up. See there? These bastards. How could they live with that all these years, you know? Paul Sharkey Mania says, if Trump came to my front door, I'd set the dog on him. Heart kimchi, heart Jolie. Heart thumbs up USA, and all those other places in there. Fancy, I'm back. We were wondering, where's Fancy? Robert Nicholas says, I'm in Buffalo. OJ was a star. Of course, yes. That's where he played the bulk of his career. It was in Buffalo. To me, OJ Simpson was the greatest running back in the history of the NFL. I never saw anyone run like him. I mean, he was great. He was one of my favorite players, and I've always been a Rams fan. Certainly wasn't a Buffalo Bills fan, but I was an OJ Simpson fan. Absolutely. So that's why when this whole thing happened, when the murders happened, and it was about OJ, I was just that's why that became such a huge story, because I think OJ had a lot of fans, both for his football career and for his acting career. He was always seen as being this like funny guy, of course, athletic and being a great athlete, and then and played he played a lot of comedic roles, and he did some serious drama and stuff, but he did the commercials, the Hertz Rent-A-Car, whatever it was, hurtling through the airport, all this stuff, and he did I think sports announcing and everything. So and then for this to all of a sudden happen, and it's like, what, OJ? This can't be. This cannot be. That's why it was such a huge story, because no one could believe it. Like that there was this side of OJ, this murdering, butchering side of OJ, and but yeah, when he played for Buffalo, he was like my favorite running back, and even though people have broken his records in terms of yardage and total yardage and stuff like that, I still think OJ is probably the best running back I've ever watched, better than Emmitt Smith or you name it, all the big runners. Walter Payton. OJ's the best, as far as I'm concerned, even though he's a murderer. And we don't have to say allegedly, because he's dead, because you can't defame the dead. MJ Daniel, Pee Wee Nosferatu, what could go wrong? And that's a reference to Stephen Miller, I believe. Mr. Spock, that's satire. TJ. Satire alert. Did I kind of skipped down, so I don't know exactly what you're talking about. I must have missed the satire, or it went right over my head. Brooklyn says, but tell me how you really feel, TJ. Jolie says, I'm still at my parents' house, walked into the living room. My dad is watching the news about Karen Reed, and he asked me if I knew anything about it. I said, interesting enough, I do now. Yeah, I think we all know a little more now than we did a half hour ago, or whatever. Francis says, I don't know anything about Isaac Hayes. I mean, I know some of his music that he was famous for, and then he did the voice for Chef, right? PDG 200 LBFB says, "Can you imagine the number of people pissing on Trump's grave?" Yeah, they're going to need to get like a drainage system in there, a good drainage system. One Vision says mayors eat oats and does eat oats and little lambs eat ivy. That was that satire too, because that went right over my head. Paul Shargamanian says, "I got the perfect song for Trump, Rubber Band Man. Great song by the Spinners." And then Jolie, who said pretty much what I just said, that they're going to need to install a drainage system at the gravesite. See, we're like the same little wavelength there. Fancy says, "Well, I didn't know that. I hear that they have teamed up the Nation of Islam now." And Jay Daniel says, "Going back to Brooklyn, a comedic video created by Colin Quinn, which parodies LL Cool J's song Going Back to Cali." Chris Doug, Orenthal J. Simpson was a great athlete and a murderer. Yeah, he turned out to be. As far as we know, he only murdered 2 people. Right? Hopefully that was it. Not saying that wasn't, like that's no big deal. But I mean, as far as we know, and we didn't know any of that. I mean, before that he had that in him. He had that potential. When he was playing football and he was smiling at the camera and doing commercials and TV shows and movies. I don't think anyone ever thought that guy could like almost cut people's heads off, like just because he was like jealous or something. I guess we could see it like if he was in war, and he was, a soldier, but it has towards Kim. She says that's part of our problem. You worship men for their brawn, but I don't worship men for their brawn, by the way. I enjoy watching their athletic feats. Anyhow, you worship men for their brawn and don't care when they all get CTE, which they don't all do, and kill their wives, which they don't all do. Sick. Other than OJ, what other? Well, I mean, there's lots of athletes. So if we take all sports that there are and all the athletes, I suppose you could go, well, this guy killed his wife and that killed his wife. So we have to look at it percentage-wise, I guess. So what's the percentage of these men that we worship for their feats of athleticism? And you're talking about CTE, so that's mainly you're talking about football players. Although it could happen in other sports if there's any traumatic head injuries or brain injuries. What's the percentage, and is it any of them killing their wives? And is it any greater percentage than in the rest of society? I would be willing to guess that it's not. Don Musil says the Japanese automaker Honda unexpectedly enters the space race with first successful rocket launch. Wow, I didn't know that Honda was doing that, so now I know. Thanks to non-useful. Sandy Foltz says that Trump gave a Metro bus driver, I guess, is it $10 or $1,000, or is it $10,000? I don't know. But anyhow, for saving a girl who was trying to end her life. Well, good for Trump. It doesn't really take away from all the other shit that he's done. Fancy says one vision I like. Oh, one vision. I like the oldies and goodies. Mad Mac, OJ in hell now, right? Or is he still alive? No, he's dead. He died. Did he die in prison? Or I guess he was out of prison. I think he just died of a heart attack or something a couple years ago. I think it was a heart attack, right? A couple years ago? Yeah, I think he was in Florida. He was out of prison. I think he'd been living in Florida and doing a lot of golfing and stuff. Sandy Foltz, I saw Jim Kelly at Children's Hospital in the elevator. Another Buffalo Bill legend and a Hall of Fame quarterback, no doubt about that. And then who later got some really horrible cancer in his jaw or something, and he had to have his whole jaw I don't know, what they put in a fake jaw or something. I'm just skipping down a little bit here. Barbara Nicholas says, yes, OJ made us hang our heads in shame. Buffalo has some of the best diehard fans, but now we have Josh. Yep, he's a good one. Ines Torres Kimchi says, TJ, I am breaking up with you. All my husbands hate football like me. Hope you don't cry. Well, yeah, you're going to make me cry. You're breaking up with me. That's a tough one. That's a tough loss. I'll be crying myself to sleep tonight, that's for sure. Fancy says, Strawberry Blonde, I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy, Pennsylvania 6500. I don't know what that's about. Ines Torres says, exactly, Marsha, the nut job was so arrogant, he admitted it. Wish I had 1/10 the arrogance of a mediocre man. Really like minds. Yeah, we have sometimes we do. It has Torres says, Spock, I went to 2 games in high school and 0 in college. Hey, that's fine. Whatever you do, you boo. You don't like football, or you don't like sports, you don't like chess. That's fine. Everyone likes their own thing. It has Taurus Kimchi. Stop worshiping athletes and rich people. I don't worship anyone. Who do I worship? I don't worship anyone. I enjoy watching certain sports. I don't worship anyone. Never have, never will. Paul Sharkymania says, I was in Frisco back in 95, watched the OJ trial in a bar. It was quite comical watching OJ trying on the glove they found at the scene of the murder. Couldn't make it up. Have you ever had an old pair of leather gloves that you wore them and they're meant to be tight fitting? We're down to 20% state of charge on my battery, by the way. And then let's say, I don't know, you put them, they're put away somewhere, they're on a bench, your work bench or whatever, and they've been sitting there and they just sort of dry up and they kind of shrink a little bit, maybe because of the sweat of your hand or whatever. And then you try to put them on, and they're your gloves, they fit before, but they've gotten they kind of shrink from just sitting there or whatever. That's all I got to say about that. It is tourist Kimchi says, I have heard of at least 5 football assholes who killed their wives or girlfriends. And that's horrible. And we could probably, I've just named, just in today's show, about 5 actors that have killed their wives. So it's horrible, and it happens. I don't like it. I don't know what that has to do with liking a certain sport and enjoy watching the game being played. Just like people like to watch a Broadway play. How many Well, we just talked about actors killing their wives, so I guess we should stop. I guess we should stop watching actors, whether it's a film or a play, and we should stop watching sports, specifically football, because there were some assholes that killed their wives. Barbara Nicholas, bless you. Yeah, I did sneeze again. Thank you, Barbara. I don't really have like a cough button or a sneeze button. Soulcraft, Arizona, or Aaron, I call him Arizona. Aaron Rodriguez, brain was really bad. He ended up hanging himself in prison. I don't know if that had anything to do with CTE with Rodriguez. He was a fucking punk who, it's kind of like what happened here in Vegas the other day with the one YouTuber shot and murdered the other 2 YouTubers. Apparently, people are saying that he comes from a gang thing. And my thoughts on that was, you could take the boy out of the gang, but you can't take the gang out of the boy. That's the same with Aaron Rodriguez, who was maybe on path to be a Hall of Fame tight end. Certainly was an all-pro, very good tight end with the Patriots, making millions and millions of dollars, had a great career, and yet he thought he was a gangster. So I don't think that had anything to do with like a CTE injury. I think he was just fucked up in the head because he thought he thought he had street cred or needed to get street cred, and he still was palling around with gangsters, and they ended up murdering someone over some pot deal or something. I think it was. Sandy Foltz says, Josh Allen is my man. I don't care if he's married. Chris Doug says, Michael Vick was in prison for dogfighting ring on his property. Yeah, that was pretty bad. That made me not like Michael Vick. Prior to that, I thought Michael Vick was he still was a great athlete. And I enjoyed watching him, even though I was not a Falcons fan or any of the teams that he went to. Like you guys know, I'm a lifelong Rams fan. But as soon as that happened, I was like, he should be out of the league. They should never let him back in. He should be just completely lifetime banned. I think he was out for a couple of years, and then they let him back into the league. But I lost all respect for Michael Vick after that. I stopped worshiping him. Non-useful Jimmy Swaggart, a well-known televangelist, is in critical condition after suffering a cardiac arrest. How old is that guy? He's got to be like 90. So, he's been living on borrowed time, maybe. I don't know. Anyhow, we're down to under 20% on my charge on my battery. So I think I think I've done enough damage. I think I may have lost Roxanne Epstein. Was it Epstein? I think I may have lost her. I may have lost Kimchi. Kimchi broke up with me, so it's been a bad day. In terms of my relationships with my folks that come in here. So before I do any more damage and lose any more of you, maybe going on every day isn't a good idea. I might be doing more harm than good. I don't know, to the show. But before the battery dies and before I lose any more of you, by pissing you off, we should probably end the show. And you guys are still talking about OJ, and Kimchi's very angry about football players. Jolie says, they always come back, Trucker John. Everyone loves you. Thank you, Jolie. Thank you. Thank you for the words of encouragement. So, if Jen of the base is there, tell your girlfriend to come back. Tell her to come back, man. Sometimes, I piss people off. Belfast Bob, the actor from Paris, Texas, is brilliant. I'm not sure who that is. Something just flew by me. There's a little fucking gnat in here that pisses me off. Anyhow, thanks so much. We got 3/5 of the way on the goal. Almost made the goal. If we made the goal, I was going to do a 10-minute Q&A. But I think we're not going to be able to do that. So anyhow, all right, guys. I guess that's it for today. Before the thing dies. Anyhow, today is Wednesday, Hump Day. Today's Hump Day. Hump Day with Hal coming up at 3 p.m. Pacific time. For all of you House Sparks fans, I think he's coming at 3. I don't know. Is there anyone we can raid to? Who's on right now that we could raid over to? Is there anyone? Let's see. There is Midas Touch. We could raid over there and say, Trucker John wants 5 million subscribers. Anyone else on? Do we know? I mean, not that I know Midas Touch. There's an AP story about Karen Reed found not guilty of second-degree murder. Yippee! Yippee, Karen Reed! I'm so happy for you. I mean, I am. I mean, I know I sound like a dick. I know I sound like a dick. I'm glad if she's really innocent, I'm glad she's found innocent or not guilty, I guess. Not guilty is what they're supposed to say. But there it is right there. AP story. Oh, looks like Nicole. Oh, she's probably off now. Oh, she only does 1 hour. I think Nicole is over. Oh, wait. Is Nicole still on? Nicole is still on. She might. If you guys want to go over to Nicole Sandler, we can give her a quick raid. She might go off at any minute now. She might go off the air. I have the link, guys, so I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to put Nicole's link right there. That's the link to Nicole Sandler. If you guys want to raid, we love Nicole. She's great. She has a great show. So if we want to, I think we should raid Nicole Sandler. And so anyhow, thanks so much, guys. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to do my words of wisdom and then my outro. But if you guys want to raid Nicole, let's go over there and make sure you say hi to Nicole from me, or say the Trucker John raid, or however you guys want to do it. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Right now I'm doing all 11 a.m.s for now. We'll see how that works. So tomorrow, Thursday, just one show. I don't do the 2 shows anymore. One show, 11 a.m. right here, Trucker John channel. I'll see you then. Okay. Get your pad out, get your pen, paper, crayons, whatever it is you do, for these words of wisdom. All right? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Words of wisdom time. All right, guys. So here we go. You all.
So you want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love. It's all about the thrills, it's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows, so go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. So damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Trucker John, on the road he rides, live streaming all through the nights. From politics to pop culture he speaks. No topic is off limits, nothing is weak. From Vegas to the highways, he'll never tire, shouting about food, talking about desire. He's the rebel of the asphalt, the king of the night. With a microphone in his hand, he's ready to ignite. Freedom is his fuel, passion in his soul. Gotta express himself, gotta take control. Moving through the country, keeping it real, no filter, no holding back, nothing to conceal. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. free.